Recording in progress. Here we go. Another fantastic episode of the Therapy Unzipped podcast. I am grateful to be here in Florida. Luckily, we were okay out on the East Coast. But there is a Hurricane Helene ripping through the Big Bend area and now in what, Georgia, what have you. So
Right.
prayers, positive thoughts, and the likes going out to them, and we hope everybody fares okay, and we can repair and recover whatever we need to.
Yeah, it was a big storm for sure. We just had some wind and some rain, so thankful for that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, happy Friday, Tom. It's good to see you as always.
Thanks, man. Always a treat to see you. Well, let's
Uh,
get into a topic of the week. And
mhm.
this has come up several times, and when things come up, it's good to talk about those things. It's like a sign, like, hey, maybe we should talk about it. So the topic that has come up this week has been discipline. And so that's what we'll talk about primarily this episode, but we'll get into whatever we need to get into. But yes, discipline has been something that has come up. People have been undisciplined, or they're not sure exactly what discipline is or what it could look like for them in their lives. So let's talk about it today.
The big D, Tom. Are you kidding me? We're talking about the big D.
Big D. Oh wow. Yeah. That should that should be the title of the episode, the Big D.
Oh, wow. That'll get people to at least listen to it and then go, oh, that was a disappointment.
I thought we were talking about D. We're talking discipline. Who wants to talk about that shit? All
All
right.
right.
Done. That will be the title of the
All
show.
right.
Big D.
The big D.
So,
Discipline.
what's discipline to you?
Well, discipline to me is staying true to the goals that I've set for myself, whatever those are. Um, and yeah, following through on the commitments I've made to myself. That's what I see for me. And it's really a personal thing for me. And usually, I'm disciplined to getting good sleep, the big five, right? Getting the good sleep, staying hydrated, getting some exercise, sticking to a schedule, and eating decent food.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I have family in town this week, and I've
Mhm.
been on vacation this week, and I have been so undisciplined. I have not gotten regular exercise. I have not been eating the best. I have not been following my normal sleep schedule, staying up late, kinds of things. So, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in all kinds of things. I'm coming to you live from my bedroom because my office is occupied with sleeping family members.
Mhm.
But so, and because of that lack of discipline, and I don't regret it. I mean, we're having a good time and hanging out
Yeah.
with the family, and but in the back of my head, I'm craving the discipline to follow my schedule when I get back to normal after the weekend. So
Mhm.
I feel so much better when I do follow my plan, my guide, my what the goals, daily goals that I've set up for myself. And I can feel it. I'm tired. I'm groggy. You can hear it in my voice. I just woke up a little bit ago. So yeah, that's
And we all
what's.
have been in that place where we are undisciplined. We
Mhm.
really know exactly, to your point, that it's the goals that we have for ourselves, whether that's personal or professional, health wise or relationship wise, we have, even if it's unconscious, we have goals and we have a set of roles to live by. And when we're not abiding by those roles and when we're not doing those things that would enable us to achieve those goals, then we become undisciplined. Discipline really is like us following those rules, whether it's internal or external rules, and doing those tasks, those routines that enable us to achieve those goals, to be the kind of person that we want to be, to live the life that we want to lead. And that's essentially what discipline is. Now, of course, depends on who you ask, depends on the environment. When I was in the Marines, discipline was defined by instant and willing obedience to all orders and directives. Now, that's very different than the lives we lead today, but in that environment,
Hmm.
that makes sense. And so, extrapolating, hey, following a set of rules and guidelines, like, okay, that's still discipline. But, I think instead of worrying about how you define it, I think the more important thing is you being consistent, you
Hmm.
committing to yourself and to your goals, and you having a degree of self-control because
Hmm.
uh, it's sort of like delaying the instant gratification for long-term benefits.
Hmm. And your personal goals are yours. So if you don't meet them, some people think, oh, I'll just, I don't have to do this today. I don't have to do that today. The only person you're cheating is yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You're not making this commitment to other people. So you're just letting yourself down, which to me is the biggest thing. I strive to meet my goals for my own pleasure, self-worth, self-concept, that I can do these things. The other thing with when I think of discipline is the word motivation, right?
Hmm.
And that word is just ridiculous. Everyone says,
That-
I can't find the motivation.
uh-huh.
Well, what is motivation? The motivation, if you're just going to lay around and just wait to be motivated, it's never ever going to happen.
Right.
Motivation is discipline, is getting yourself up to do the things that you've committed to do.
Hmm.
It's not a thing that you're waiting for. It's not some obtainable thing. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Motivation and inspiration is sort of a byproduct of
Hmm.
you being disciplined. You're
Right.
not always going to have it, but inherently, intrinsically, in you doing those things, being
Right.
disciplined each day, there will be days, there will be moments when you do feel inspired, when you do feel motivated, especially when you see the positive rewards or the positive changes or strides that you're making towards your goals. When
Hmm.
let's say you have a goal of weight loss and you get on the scale and you lost 12 pounds, however long that was, maybe it was a month, maybe it was 2 months, like then the motivation might come to continue doing those things, to continue doing the things you need to do to lose weight, and you might feel more motivated, but it was because you were disciplined about your diet, about exercise, about choosing the right kinds of foods, about getting enough sleep, drinking water, all those things. So, you have to set up your routine, manage your time wisely, manage your energy, and do the things oftentimes that you don't want to do, to do.
Right.
There's always a negative connotation with discipline. It means like there's going to be a period of indeterminate suffering that I'm going to have to endure. You
Hmm.
know, you don't have to see it that way. You focus on your why I'm doing these things. Focus on the goals that you're trying to achieve. Break it down into smaller chunks
Hmm.
and reward yourself, and don't beat yourself up if you falter or if you decide, hey, it's the holidays or it's a hurricane party or family's in town and you're not as disciplined as you once were. That's okay. You're allowed to have
Hmm.
those moments. You don't say, you know what, screw it. I had family in town for a week and we fell off and we were undisciplined. We ate crappy food and we had a great time, but now I'm feeling sluggish. Now I'm gonna ride out the rest of the month
Right.
and do bad. Like, just today's a new day, like, all right, just get back on track.
Yeah. And Tom, you and I have been talking about, our top sand scores for a long time. And, just a quick reminder, like what we say when we say top sand scores, we're focusing on the things that we can control. And there are five basic things that you and I and we encourage are the folks that we work with to work on every single day. And it's not going to be an answer to your solution to your problems, but it will make you as as resilient as possible to manage the stress that comes on you at a daily basis. It is those five things. It is decent nutrition, getting some exercise, working off of some kind of schedule that you set for yourself, good predictable sleep pattern, and staying hydrated. And every day I still give myself, and every week, each one of those five is a score of 1 to 5. And every day I score myself on those individual things for a total score of 25.
Mhm.
When I come in short, and like this week I've been in the teens, um, when I'm usually in the high teens or low 20s. I don't beat myself up over it, but I that's what motivates me is, man, I got to get out of this middle teen thing. I got to get back up to my low 20s. That's what's motivating for me.
Mhm.
And I keep my scores, and I have for a long time. So, and
Mhm.
that's what holds me accountable, is
Yeah.
because I could give myself a score in my head, and then I could, like, conveniently forget it. But I write it down, in my notes section on my phone every single day. So I
Mhm.
have to look at it, and I have to look and go, oh boy, man, you need to really pull it together, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So five domains, right? Five
Mhm,
areas: sleep, nutrition, exercise, water intake. Did I stick to the daily schedule?
mhm,
And then five would be I did it flawlessly or
right,
almost flawlessly. And then you just rate yourself, one or zero, I guess, was I didn't do that at all. I totally
right,
botched that, which I don't think for many of us, I think we'd at least get a one.
sure,
So anyway, I've been journaling every day since January 1st this year. And in the journal, I've been putting the top sand score,
mhm,
and it's interesting to go back and look at the days where I was in the teens, maybe even low teens, to see I had more stress or more difficulty on those days. Like I found the language or the wording that I was using to be more negative. And then the days where I had 25s or like, 23 to 25, like
mhm,
I have today was an amazing day. Today was a great day. I'm like, maybe there's
yeah.
something to that,
Surprise.
right?
Yeah. Oh, it's actually absolutely correlated. Because I'll take a note occasionally, not all the time, but when a score is particularly high or particularly low, I'll put a note in there, and it's amazing how well correlated it is.
Mhm.
The higher the top score sand, the more happy, the more content, the more um, better I feel about myself. So,
If you want to be stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, even
right,
spiritually, then in order to cultivate and gain that strength, you have to be one, disciplined,
right,
doing those things that are going to lead you in those domains or in those areas, and you have to endure hardship or adversity.
yeah,
You have to have those two things if you want to get stronger in any
right,
area. So if you perceive a challenge or a weakness in one of those areas or wherever you feel like you have a weakness, then you need to work on stuff, be disciplined, endure whatever adversity or challenge within the confines of that area, and then you will get stronger. You will
yeah.
adapt. You have to adapt. You have to facilitate an adaptation.
Right. Absolutely. And Tom, you and I work with folks that, can be pessimistic. And I talk to people about their top sand score or this concept, and they're like, how is staying hydrated going to help me manage my anxiety or my depression? And I said, well, it's not, you're right, but it's going to put you in the best position to manage. This is not the end all solution for good mental health and managing the depression and anxiety, but it's going to put you in the best situation possible. It's going to put you in the best car with the best engine, with the best safety equipment,
Mhm.
so that you're prepped and ready. You're at your best to manage those things. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how we manage anxiety and depression. But we need to be, and we say, I call it being resilient. Being as resilient as possible to manage the stress and anxiety that comes at us at a daily basis.
Dude, watch this. Okay, this is an indirect way that drinking water can help with your anxiety. If you drink a gallon of water a day, not saying to do that, but I know I've done
Mhm.
this, and you have to go to the bathroom so many times throughout the day. And we know, we've said this, that anxiety lives in the future. Whenever you're worried or
Uh-huh.
fearful, it's when your mind is going to something in the future that hasn't yet happened, that you don't want to have happen, or that you're worried is not going to happen. And
Right.
so if you just drink, a gallon of water a day and you've got to go pee 85 times, that's going to put you in the present moment, because we know to combat anxiety or even depression, we have to pull ourselves into the present moment. And I tell
Hmm.
you what, when you are drinking copious amounts of water, all of a sudden you are zoomed back into the present moment, because you're like, I gotta go pee. I
Right.
cannot pass go, cannot collect $200. I need to run to the restroom, or else it's happening
Right.
before I get there. And you know what? My anxiety level has come way down just by drinking water without me even realizing that it wasn't a direct, symptom of,
Hmm.
but indirectly, I got back into my body and I was focusing on, hey, I need to go run to the restroom before I go make this hour-long drive, because I
Right.
know at some point, because I'm drinking enough water, I'm
Right.
gonna have to go to the bathroom. So I need to kind of plan things out a little bit, and it puts me more in the present moment.
Right. Right.
Just
Absolutely.
something as silly as that, like you wouldn't think about that, but it makes sense. Just try it out and see what happens. Now, it does suck having to go to the restroom a lot, so maybe a gallon is not right for you,
Right.
but but drink a lot, drink enough water.
Right.
You drink more than you think you need to drink.
And that whole concept of one small change will lead to another small change, will lead to another small change. It's that whole domino effect.
Mhm.
And it's true. You start somewhere, you make one positive change, that leads to another. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit better. What if I try this? What if I try that? Why don't I'm going to go for a walk?
Why do we get undisciplined then?
I'm going to park my car at the furthest spot in the store and walk. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just to
That's
get
one
those
small
extra
change.
steps. So, Brett,
Yeah.
why do we become undisciplined? Why are there so many undisciplined people out there?
Well, it's easy. You take the easy road. I want to park right next to the front door because it's easier.
Hmm.
It's too hot to walk, Tom. It's whatever. It's gonna rain. I don't want to carry all the groceries to the car. It's
Hmm.
just easier. We're all looking to be the most efficient and the most effective possible. I don't have time to go for a walk as I'm sitting scrolling through TikTok for an hour.
Right. That donut is pretty tempting.
Hmm.
And I know that right now, that's going to make me feel really good.
Right? Of
And then you
course.
lose the self-control and you give in to temptations. You give in to the easier, softer way of doing things. And
Hmm.
suddenly we find ourselves undisciplined. We're not sticking to those things,
Hmm.
abiding by those rules that we've set forth for ourselves, or that our external world has set forth for us. And we fall off the wagon. And then after a period of time goes by, we start to complain, I'm fat, I'm exhausted, I'm so stressed out all the time, I'm not making enough money, I don't like my life, I don't like my relationship, I don't like all these things. And you feel like it's something out of your control, when let's redirect your focus to the things you do have within your control. And self-control can be one of them, delaying that instant gratification to get some longer term benefits, to make a
Hmm.
better choice, being committed to yourself and to your goals, and then the consistency of doing that.
Right. Discipline's not always fun. It's not always easy, but it is important. And in the long run, it will make you feel better about yourself and the choices that you've made.
Yeah.
If you're going to lay around and wait for motivation, it's never coming.
How does that whole 80/20 rule go?
Oh, yeah. We focus 80% of our time on the 20% of the problems or something.
Yeah, yeah, and that works out in so many different ways. I've heard
Mhm.
that referred to, you wear 20% of the clothes you have in your closet
Right.
80% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what you do 80% of the time is, I don't remember, there's something along those
Yeah.
lines, but
I have to tell you, Tom, so I just moved, as we know. And, I was in my last place almost 8 years, and you accumulate so many things over 8-year period of time. I got rid of at least half of the clothes, if not more, that I had, right?
Yeah.
Got into the new place, got everything set up, and I have not even once thought about, hey, where's that shirt that
Right?
I missed that shirt. Nope.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Ugh, it felt so good to get rid of all of that stuff.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I've got a
Yeah.
I've got a couple of bags of stuff of just like shirts, t-shirts and like button-down shirts that I've just purchased over the years because, like I needed a hit of like dopamine and instant gratification and like, hey, just bought a nice shirt. You know what? Like I just recently got this shirt because it was on sale from company that I buy a lot of my shirts from now. And I hang it up in the closet. And I've got three other shirts that look just like this.
All
Like,
right.
did I
So I
need to buy
used to wear a suit and tie to work every day. I haven't done that in probably 8 years. I mean, I did a little bit when I first got here, not too much, but a little bit. So let's say a good 6 years. I haven't worn suits and ties. I had a dozen suits and 100 ties in my closet, and they were just sitting
it?
there. I couldn't get rid of them. I mean, how we spent good money on that. How can I get rid of that stuff?
Right?
Oh man, I got rid of that stuff in a heartbeat.
Hmm.
I'm never gonna wear a suit and tie again, Tom.
And you feel like not only relief, but like weirdly so, more energy getting rid of
Yeah.
stuff. Because like
Oh yeah.
energetically, we're like connected to all the shit that we have and that we own. And when we get rid of that stuff, like
Mhm.
suddenly like I said, weirdly so, you have this resurgence, it's like you get
Right.
that energy back. It's no longer being sucked here and there.
Right. For sure.
Okay, so the big D. How do we get the big D?
The big D.
Yeah.
Um,
How do we get and maintain discipline?
so the big D, it's like motivation. It just doesn't come naturally. Yeah, it's not a thing that you can go find that you put in the closet and forgot about. Discipline is the commitment you make to yourself. And what bigger commitment is there rather than the commitments you make to yourself? What are the things that are important to you? Um, uh, um, and your ability to follow through on those commitments. But my big thing is I have other goals, but the goals that I focus on a daily basis are my top five, my top stand five things. I work on those every single day, and everything else seems to fall in place.
Mhm.
I'm big on goal setting, and I have a whole list of goals, of things that I want to accomplish in my lifetime. What I do is there's a list, and there's probably 100 things on there. I did this list a long time ago, and every year I will pull one, maybe two things off of that list, and I commit to working on those one and two things for that calendar year. But the top five I do every day, and it helps me be as resilient as possible to manage the stress that comes at me. So I have the time, energy, and motivation to work on my one or two goals for the year.
Okay, so setting your goals,
Hmm.
engaging in a daily routine that's going to help you achieve those goals,
Yep.
holding yourself accountable
Hmm.
to those things whenever you falter to not beat yourself up.
Right.
I guess continually taking an assessment of how you're doing, and if you need to make any
Hmm.
tweaks along the way. Um, I think if you can do those things, then
Yeah.
you'll gain and be able to maintain your discipline.
Yeah.
Just stay
The big
committed to yourself. You engage in some self-control and just be consistent. Really, it's simple. Maybe not easy, but simple.
right. It is simple, but not easy.
Yeah.
And we know it's easy to say and hard to do. We get it because we live it every day.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it is simple.
And you don't have to suffer, I mean, I know you're going to
Mhm.
be delaying some instant gratification, but you know what? If you start achieving some small steps or pieces that lead up to the goal, so smaller goals, and you
Mhm.
achieve those, then you know what? Why not reward yourself? It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be with something bad, but
Hmm.
why don't, because I've stayed disciplined for, let's see, at least give it 2 weeks. Don't be disciplined for 2 days and then be like, all right, I'm gonna go, you know,
Hmm.
splurge now. But like if you're disciplined for at least 2 weeks, then I think you can offer yourself some small reward. And ooh, how about this? How about instead of rewarding yourself after 2 weeks, you wait for 30 days, 4 weeks, and then give yourself a little bit of a bigger reward.
Hmm. And it's true. I mean, when I was heavier, I would have a cheat day every couple of weeks, something like that. And then I lost a bunch of weight and I was, happy with where I was. And, I was like a cheat day once a week. What didn't always I didn't want to wait all week for that, right? So I have like a half a cheat day like on Wednesday and like a half a cheat day on Saturday.
Mhm.
So I split it. So instead of getting, like 5 tacos, I'll just get like 1 taco or 2 tacos.
Right? Yeah. Isn't it funny when we have those cheat days for those of you out there who have challenges managing your weight, um, like I do. When we when you think about, okay, 1 pound is 35,000 calories roughly. So you have to be in a caloric deficit of 35,000 or 100 or whatever it is. But I don't remember
Yeah,
what.
3,500, I believe.
3,500. So if you want to lose 1 pound per week, you have to be in a caloric deficit of 3,500. Yeah, 35,000. That's crazy. 3,500 calories in order to lose that pound, based on your BMI and your activity level and all that. So like when I'd have a cheat day or a cheat weekend or whatever, like, and I was doing good for 5 days, like it's cumulative. So,
Right.
just you can't eat, 4,500 calories on Saturday, because it's my cheat day and expect that just because you
Right.
did good for 5 days that's going
Right.
to work. So to your point, man, like, hey, instead of rewarding yourself with 8 tacos, like to have two.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. You don't have to have a box of donuts, just have one donut,
Exactly.
you know?
Speaking of, I have had more donuts, cookies, and ice cream this week than I have had probably in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Because next week, no more donuts.
Right. And
But it's
then
good.
like reward yourself with healthy things,
Yep.
feel good about yourself, be
Yeah.
kind to yourself.
Absolutely.
You don't have to suffer just because you're being disciplined.
Right. Absolutely.
And if you focus on the fact that you're suffering, then you're not going to maintain it.
Yeah. And find things, like we talk specifically nutrition or exercise or any of those things. Find out what works for you. If you hate running, then don't
Don't
run.
run.
Right? If you hate, boiled chicken and carrots, then your healthy nutrition isn't boiled chicken and carrots. Find out
Uh-huh.
what's good for you. There's lots of healthy things out there, and there's
Yeah.
lots of exercise that you enjoy. I mean, you and I have been getting a little bit more into boxing, and that's a great exercise, and it's fun.
Hmm.
I hate running, so I don't run.
Yeah. Well, I think
But
people, because of the internet, social media and whatnot, that they get they get influenced by people who are out there promoting maybe motivation or inspiration. And there's a guy that inspires me who's a real badass who runs 20 miles a day. So
yeah,
therefore I have to run. And then you start running and you realize you hate running and then you never want to do it. And then
right,
you never do anything else. Like
right,
just because it worked for that guy doesn't
right,
mean that that's going to
right,
work for you. That doesn't mean that that's the formula for your success. That's
right.
the formula for his success, and he's
Mhm.
just sharing that with you. But you have to find the right formula for you based on what you're going to be able to do.
I walk instead of run, probably 45 minutes a day. This week has been a little off, but anyway. But what I do is and I love it, is I'll find a new podcast, or I'll find a new album, or I'll find a new genre of music, or I'll let like Apple Music, I'll put in a song I like and see where the station it builds from it, So music or a new podcast, and I discovered so many things and learned so many things that I actually like. I can't wait for my walk because I really want to listen to that podcast,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
won't allow myself to listen to the podcast unless I'm doing the exercise. So.
Yeah. When I was in my 20s, running worked really well. I loved running, marathon type runner. Lost a bunch of weight at 170, and at 25, 26 years old, running felt really good. I really enjoyed it. At 45, running did not feel so good. So
Nope.
I love walking now, and I strap a weight vest on and I go for a walk, and that feels better. And that helps me achieve the same results without the
Yeah,
wear and tear or the jarring motion
yeah,
of jumping, because when you're running, you're jumping and you're coming down on your
for sure.
feet, ankles, knees, hips, whatnot. And
Right,
as we get older, we shouldn't do that so much.
right. With the exercise part is I hate burpees. They are my least favorite exercise routine of all time. But I would force myself for a while to do those, and then it didn't work. I'm like, why am I doing these things? I hate them so much. So
Yeah.
what can I do that's a similar motion or that I'll get the same results? And it is um jumping rope. And jumping rope is tough, man. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
dare anybody out there to try to do 5 minutes a day of good jump rope routine.
hmm
Not
We have
easy.
to do hard things, but we don't have to do things that we absolutely loathe.
Yeah, exactly.
hmm
Yeah.
Been
And that you should see
interesting.
the dog, when I started jumping rope, the dog, always went crazy, right? 'Cause the dog's watching me through the sliding glass door. And now the dog just like his head goes up and down like with the jump rope. It's funny.
So take this in. Take in the big D. Take
Big D. The big D.
discipline.
Take in the big D time.
Take in the
Okay.
big take in the discipline and be consistent with yourself, be committed to yourself and engage in some self-control. And you'll find that you're able to actually achieve your goals and you'll feel so much better. And
Yeah,
then you'll look back and be like, why did I not do these things? Why was I
right,
not disciplined? You can be disciplined. It's very simple.
right.
Like we said, maybe not easy, but it's very simplistic.
Mhm.
So do you engage in these things we're talking about? And if you do have any comments, concerns, or challenges that you have faced regarding discipline, motivation, inspiration, daily routines, what have you, send them to us at their questions at therapyunzipped.com. Oh, I
Yeah,
botched that. Questions at therapyunzipped.com. And we'd love to hear from you and we'd love to comment back and talk about it on the show.
absolutely. Well, Tom, it's always a pleasure.
Grateful to you to have you and to be able to talk. I hope you have an amazing day today and the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you as well. So, and again, our thoughts are with everybody in North Florida and Georgia right now. So,
Absolutely.
all
Thank you
right.
for being here. See you guys soon.
All right. Take care.